Hi class, welcome to week 2. So I have started grading week 1 already, but the week actually doesn't close until tonight at 11:59. So I'll continue to grade those things as they come in. I anticipate throughout the entire term I will have all of your assignments back within a week of the due dates, maybe up to 2 weeks, but I'll try and stay at a week so that you guys have that feedback continuously. Great job overall of what I've seen come in so far this term. Just a few little hints or tips on areas that a few could improve upon. Always make sure you're spell checking and using your grammar. This is your capstone class. You guys are going to either maybe step up in the current place you're working, you came back to school for some type of promotion or advancement and to enhance your skills. So this course is really where you're going to show those best communication skills. So not capitalizing your I's, for example, and making it look more like an iPhone rather than referring to yourself is not acceptable. Texting terms are not acceptable. Make sure you're including your research and citing that in MLA format. You guys should have been doing that throughout the entire program, so you're just making sure you're doing that in this course. If you do struggle with those areas, we do have an online writing center as well that can help you with that. I'm not an English instructor, but I can help you find those resources. Another great tool you can add to your computer is Grammarly, which helps to correct some of those grammatical mistakes that you might have in your papers or your items that you're submitting. So just make sure that you're really checking for those items. Something that might be new to some of you is when we use Padlet, which is our external discussion board forum that we use this first week. You do need to make sure that you put your name on it, because unless you're logging in using your student email account, I don't know who is posting those. It just shows up as anonymous. So if you don't include your name, I actually can't give you credit. So just make sure going forward in other discussion forums that you're signing it with your name at the bottom or even in the top. That'll help me to make sure I can give you guys those points for completing the discussion forums. As for week 2 material, please go back and review your grades that you've gotten so far on your assignments that you've turned in. This first week, you turned in a couple worksheets, one related to naming your business, and the other one was your case discussion. So there was a few trouble areas, one being overhead and fixed expenses and what those all will entail within the simulation. So I wrote on yours if you were missing a few areas, so you want to go back and review those, because those will help you with your forecasting of how many items you're going to need to purchase for each quarter. And then naming. Some of you had some just fly-by names that you just kind of threw out there, didn't do a lot of research or thinking or potentially survey related to your name. So you're going to want to look at that, because one of these first decisions that you're making during week 2 is setting up your name, and you're pretty much stuck with it once you start the simulation. So you want to make sure it really represents your brand, your image, that tells the customer what you're selling, what the store is about. Those are all important aspects to having a good name. So make sure you're reviewing those. Another area that was a trouble on the worksheet was calculating how many employees you were going to need as far as part-time staff. So review that feedback to make sure that you have enough coverage and that you're not miscalculating for any reason. I want to make sure that you guys are starting off good with your first week of decisions. So week 2 assignments, you do need to log in and make your simulation decisions. If for some reason you missed that deadline, there's no way to go back. It's a hard close. There's no give me a break pass on going back into your simulation. So make sure that you're meeting that deadline. You need to have your decisions made by Monday for your first quarter and your startup decisions. You also, besides making your initial startups decisions, which would be your location, your name, your initial order of your inventory, how your operations are going to work, you're looking at your financing options. So that was part of the worksheet. You had 3 different options for financing. You'll be able to select which one you're going to go with this first initial startup period. So with your name, location, product line, and financing your initial startup decisions, one of your assignments this week is to not only make those decisions and lock them in your simulation, but you are also going to write up a summary of those 4 areas for your initial startup, which will be included in your final simulation documents. You will need to include research and cite your sources as to how you came up with that information, why you made certain decisions. You should defend those with research. In addition to your initial startup decisions, you will have your period 1 decisions where you need to complete a log of quarterly decisions related to your marketing, operations, inventory, purchases, all of those areas. So go back and review that blank document assignment that is listed in the simulation folder, so you make sure that you're logging your quarterly decisions each period as you're making those, because you'll have to turn that in week 3 for period number 1. On top of those quarterly log of quarterly decisions that you'll complete, you will also complete a blank portfolio is what it is right now. It's a template. It has 5 different documents that you will keep track of your results. Unfortunately, you can't keep track of those as you make your decisions. You have to wait until the quarter rolls over. So that'll just be slightly behind each quarter, but you'll be able to do that in week 3. So just become familiar with those so you know where the information is coming from. All of you should have taken business financials. If not, you took accounting 1. So you should be prepared to be able to put in the information on your balance sheet and your financial statements. If you're struggling with those, you're going to want to go back to your course material and review how you actually incorporate that material into your startup decisions and how you fill out those blank documents. Make sure you are following the written assignment guidelines on those assignments, as well as citing your research in MLA format. You want to make sure you can get all of your points and maximize those each week. So those are your assignments for the week. In addition to those, there is a discussion forum again this week. The discussion forum is going to take place in Blackboard, so you guys will need to complete that by Friday at 11:59 p.m. If for some reason you missed that deadline, you still can do your 2 reply posts and get your up to 10 points on that portion, and the replies are due by Monday at 11:59 p.m. The discussion forum for week 2 is going to be related to traffic counts and the Wisconsin DOT. So you'll log into the Wisconsin DOT traffic counts. You're going to pick a location. I would recommend looking at locations that might be relevant to where you could potentially locate your business. Then we can use this information when we start our business plans. Try and be unique so everyone has a different traffic count, different location, so that when you do your business plan, we can pull that information right into our business plans without having to do a lot of additional research. So you're going to pick a location, look at the traffic count, figure out what that traffic count means. What does that mean for a business if you have let's say there's 20,000 vehicles driving by your business every day? How can that relate to your marketing potentially? You want to discuss that information within the discussion portal. So if you guys have any questions related to the assignments this week, please feel free to reach out and let me know. Otherwise, all of the information is listed in Blackboard in the folder, as well as your links. There's 2 worksheets this week, the financial statements worksheet, which will help you prepare for filling those out next week, as well as a marketing worksheet. So make sure you submit those, review the assignments. As you're working on your assignments for this term related to the simulation, you are going to want to log in under the assignment folder, look in that simulation folder and see what your final project is going to all entail. As you get feedback each quarter related to your decisions and your written summaries and your financial statements, you'll want to make those edits and start compiling that so that when we get to the end of the simulation, you're not having to go back and make all those edits and corrections and compile that document at the same time. So if you do it in stages as we go through, it'll be a lot easier and less stressful for you guys as we get towards the end of the semester. So I hope you guys have a great second week, great first week already. So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.